This is the story of a girl. Possibly this girl was the only one brave enough to go to this haunted house. We don't know exactly how she ended up here. Possibly she got into a challenge. And her challenge was to knock in this gloomy house. Possibly this house was abandoned for years. Or is it? In this picture, my main focus was on the light. Mostly everything in the picture is dark. From the beginning, you see how all of the colors are tinted blue. Even the orange pumpkins are just a grayish shade of purple. And everything is colored accordingly. The shadows are even more purplish. Possibly the main light we see in this picture is the moonlight. As you see, it is one of the first things that I determined in this picture. I wanted this main source of light defined from the beginning, because that is the main thing that is going to put some light to everything else. But having just one source of light would make possibly a very boring picture. There was a big dark area in front of the girl and in the front of every object in this picture. So the picture itself called from another source of light that could light the front. That is where the pumpkins come in very handy. These jack-o'-lanterns have a very bright yellow light. Possibly some more of these jack-o'-lanterns are in front of the girl. Possibly there's a neighborhood in front of her. But the jack-o'-lanterns give us a hint that there is some warmth coming from the other side. This warm light coming from the left is going to illuminate very softly all her front part. Also, the jack-o'-lanterns and the stairs. And it is going to create a good contrast between the blue of the background and the yellowish colors in the front. As soon as I have all my lights on here and on all the objects that they are going to be affecting, I can start making details to the picture. All of this first stage of the painting was spent on figuring out where all the surfaces were going to be affected by light. Either the moonlight or the light from the front. But with that in place, we can jump to details. Possibly she got tired of knocking at the door. And she was leaving when she saw something. Something called her attention. But what could it be? Possibly these jack-o'-lanterns tell us that this house is not entirely empty. Or was it just a trick from the neighbors to make this house look less gloomy? As the spectator, there are many questions that we can ask to ourselves when we look at a picture like this. Keep watching and draw your own conclusions. I can define better the shape of her fingers. I can define better the curves in her hair. I can define better her eyes and her nose. And all the details that are going to help me have a finished picture. But all the previous work was very important to define all the most important shapes in the picture. Fog is very useful in pictures. It can cover up some parts of the pictures so they are not so clear and they steal interest from our main subject. Because this area is quite blurred, but it's not completely empty, it gives some information about the picture. It still gives some context. And context is what we need to make the picture clear. It can also help us divide the picture to create the sensation of perspective. I quite accidentally found that using the bluish fog with the divide blending mode create a nice orangey bloom coming from the left that create a very nice contrast with the blue in the background. You know, orange and blue are complementary colors and it creates a very striking effect that is widely used in all kinds of visual language. This was quite a happy accident. Of course, the house could not be completely empty. There's a big space there, and also her eyes are looking towards the house. Possibly right in this moment, a light turns on, revealing a figure inside the house. Of course, this house needed a fence. So I drew this fence using simple lines with a very simple brush, and then I made it darker in some areas. I made it lighter in the areas where the moonlight would be affecting it, using a very texturized brush. To finish the picture, I added some reflections, some translucency in the hair, in her clothes, and in other areas, and finally some specular effect to make everything look more natural. Have a happy Halloween, and see you in the next one.